What's something that's clearly overpriced yet people still buy? Printer ink. 2 years ago I bought a color laser printer instead. 750 pages later my starter black toner is about half, and the colors are about 13 gone. Well worth the high price tag to replace the toners. Edit, since I've had quite a few ask, it's a Brother L3210CW. I found mine on sale before the world went to hell for sub $200, now they are $100 to $200 more but still worth it. Diamonds. Close. I was at a factory in Bangladesh once where they were making products for a well-known brand. The factory owner handed me a top and said take it, it'll be worth loads by the time you get home. Sure enough, when I got home, the same design top was being sold for about 60 to 70. It cost them about £1 to manufacture. College textbooks. I am very proud of the fact that I have never assigned a mandatory textbook, third year teaching college. God bless you for that. One of my teachers saved us $300 on a book by writing his own actually. That's amazing. One of my professors wrote his own book too but also charged us for it. Smile. My processor architecture teacher wrote his own textbook, and then paid to have it printed out, then gave it to us for free. That guy was awesome. He did not bind it, just bulk printed and put in like dollar binders. Still awesome. Nice. I had a few professors that sold spiral-bound books through the off-campus copy center. I had no problem paying $15 for those. I had a teacher who, by the time I had him, had his spiral-bound $15 notebook printed as a softcover textbook. The price shot all the way up to $30. He even asked us to vote on the cover options for his next edition. The best part was when we actually used almost every damn page he wrote. We didn't quite get to the end, cause shit happens, but there was no fluff. Just vital information from page to page. This thread reminds me of some of the instructors I was blessed with. 2 of them wrote their own books, one was a free PDF and the other was a $15 workbook. One used the Microsoft documentation pages as their official textbook, CS degree. 3 of them used the same textbook, which they agreed should be on every application designer's reference book shelf throughout their career. The only time I felt like I was being screwed by textbooks was for my math courses, because the school couldn't afford a TA and the instructor didn't have time to grade 150 students' homework every day, so she used a book with an automated homework system, and we never opened the book. Not once. Funerals give my body to science and take a vacation instead. Ada, I figured this is as good a time as ever to remind everyone to make your wishes known for how you'd like your death to be handled. I think today it's such a taboo subject to talk about, something that people would rather avoid, but it doesn't need to be. Research your options, see what's out there and let your family know. Put things into place ahead of time to ensure your body is handled however you'd like it to be, no matter what you'd like to happen. Even if you want a traditional funeral, there's cheaper options than buying that $5,000 coffin from the funeral home. Also adding, second choices are being suggested a lot when it comes to scientific donations, and yes, this too. The biggest thing is to have a frank and honest conversation with your family or whoever would be left to make these kinds of arrangements. And the taboo of talking about death and funerals ahead of time so plans can already be in place. Make a will, make a living will, healthcare proxy, make your wishes known and figure out your assets ahead of time. Loving the ideas and knowing how many people want to return to the earth. You can also be a firework if you wanted to. Bottled water. Especially, the health fad bottled water like alkaline water or smart water. I like my alkaline water with lots of lemon. That's a pretty neutral stance on water, I'd say. I was gonna make a basic pun too, but I thought okay, I guess I will. It'd add to the chemistry puns, but it seems all the good ones are gone. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the precipitate. Flowers on Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. I agree with you. My mother, however, would like a word. I buy my mom seeds. It's a fun hobby for her, it has way more variety, it can be a thing to do together if I'm home, and it's dirt cheap. Plus, my mom sends me pictures like this is how our plants are doing. Which is cute. Right now? Cars, at least in my area. Brand new cars are few and far between. And it's not unusual to see used cars with prices $10,000 to $12,000 above what the price was a year and a half ago. It's insane. My newish car is somehow worth more now than when we bought it 3 years ago? Make it make sense. I bought my car from Mazda in 2020. They phoned me 12 months later and offered to buy it back for what I bought it for new. They then phoned another few months later and offered to stick another few grand on top. Graphics cards. The recent state of the GPU market has shown me how people don't give a duck about parting ways with their money lol. Actually, this is why my Ryzen 5900 has to put up with a 1066 GB. As long as it works, I will not buy a new one in this market. Edit, one of us. One of us. I thank the 1060 crew, and similar mole people, for doubling my Karma XD. Hello 1060 gang. Popcorn at the movies. So I found out recently from someone who used to work for a large cinema company that the reason concessions are so expensive at the theater is because the movie studios take about 80% of the sales for each ticket. It's part of the contract the theater signs to get big name films in their business. But that also means in order to turn a profit, they have to charge out the ass for food and drinks. Yeah. Movie theaters don't make money selling movie tickets. Just like gas stations don't make money selling gas. I run a gas station that does 20k plus in sales in fuel a day, but the margins are so ridiculously thin. We make our money on beer, beverages and cigarettes. Keeping up with the lottery is a huge pain in the ass, and we get like 6% commission on lotto sales. Wait, so what about the gas stations that don't have a convenience store attached? In my experience, those fuel stations with nothing else attached, like literally just some gas pumps, are owned by the fuel distributor directly. The company that delivers the gas there owns the property. Stations typically make less than 2 cents per gallon. Many less than 1 cent. Even when the price changes multiple times a day, as it's all sold via consignment, meaning you only pay for the fuel that's pumped. That's why sometimes you'll see a gas price change more than once per day. The station gets the call that the price is higher, so they have to change the price on the signs and at the pump immediately, otherwise they're going to lose a ton of dollar. That being said, the cost of upkeep and maintenance for the fuel pumps are also typically paid for by the fuel distributor. Even things aqueducts to clean your windows. Knew a guy that was friends with the local fuel delivery company. He built a huge gas station because his friend promised he'd make $0.05, $0.08 per gallon. That's the highest margin for fuel at a gas station I've even seen. I worked in the industry for years on both US coasts. Yep. Manager sleeps in the day it switches from $3.89 to $4.09 and the station loses hundreds in expenses. The money is made on snacks and booze. Adobe Creative Cloud, though, rather than buying, it's a bullshit subscription. But they got a monopoly on programs that I have to eat. That 600-year contract. Every time I check their catalog there is like 3 new programs. I watched a YouTube video that explained what 50 of the Adobe programs are used for. I was surprised that almost all of them had a specific, applicable use case. Granted, some were really niche, but still, I really thought Adobe was out here bloating themselves with useless duplicate softwares until then lol. I was curious, so I went searching. Is this the YouTube video you're talking about? All 50 plus Adobe apps explained in 10 minutes humtog. Holy cow, Adobe has dipped its toes into every step of media production. If memory serves, many years ago, we are probably talking about decades at this point, Adobe didn't mind that their software was being pirated. When I was in college, some of us actually thought that they may have been supporting the practice to some extent. This sounds weird, right? Well, as I recall it, there was a rumor that Adobe wanted to get their software on as many computers as possible. They wanted to become the standard and thus weren't as concerned with piracy. They got most of their money from corporate or legit businesses, so piracy served the purpose of getting their products out there so that everyone learns how to use it, and that's the norm. I would argue that if that was their strategy, it paid off in the long run. Yes. They purposely did make their software easily crackable specifically to put it in hands of the younger generation. And now that's why they own the corporate market share. Anything at Disneyland, or other themes parks. Or airports. PDX, Portland, requires all vendors to charge the same prices in the airport that they charge in town, which works because the airport awards restaurant concessions to existing Portland restaurants. It's great. I loved that when I flew into PDX. Also, the light rail connects right at the airport, it's so damn convenient.